Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Germany's Merz announces new Ukraine peace plan addressing territorial issues, says it will be discussed with the US over the weekend. US seizes massive oil tanker off Venezuela. Caracas accuses Washington of blatant theft. Israel says Hamas will be disarmed as part of the US peace plan for Gaza after the terror group proposes weapons freeze. In cricket, India aimed to double their lead in their second T20I match against South Africa at New Chandigarh today. South Africa hope for a quick turnaround. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz on Thursday said that a proposal outlining territorial concessions that Ukraine is prepared to make has been sent to US President Donald Trump. He said the goal is to find a path towards ending the conflict.
There is a proposal that he was not yet aware of at the time we spoke on the phone because it had not yet been sent to the Americans. We did that yesterday in the late afternoon. It mainly concerns the question of what territorial concessions Ukraine is prepared to make. But that is a question that must above all be answered by the Ukrainian president and the Ukrainian people.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said on Thursday that all misunderstandings with the United States over Ukraine had been resolved following a meeting earlier this month between President Vladimir Putin and US envoy Steve Witkoff. Lavrov on Thursday said the talks had confirmed mutual understandings reached between the two presidents at a summit in Alaska in August. Lavrov added that Russia wants a package of documents agreed to underpin a long-term and sustainable peace deal in Ukraine with security guarantees for all parties involved, reiterating that Russia would not accept Ukraine getting NATO membership. The Kremlin said on Thursday that Russia was interested in attracting additional foreign investment after the reports that the US plan for peace in Ukraine includes proposals to invest in Russian rare earths and energy. In addition, US companies would invest in Russian strategic sectors such as rare earth extraction and oil drilling in the Arctic, and US financial firms and other businesses would tap $200 billion of frozen Russian sovereign assets for projects in Ukraine. The United States has seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. President Donald Trump informed this, ratcheting up tensions with Caracas in a move that also raised oil prices. In a video published by U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, she said that the tanker was part of an illicit oil shipping network used to carry sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran. A 45-second video posted by Bondi showed two helicopters approaching a vessel and armed individuals in camouflage rappelling onto it. It is the first known action against an oil tanker since Trump ordered a massive U.S. military buildup in the region and carried out strikes against suspected drug vessels operations that have raised concerns among Democratic lawmakers and legal experts. The U.S. has imposed sanctions on the tanker for what Washington said was involvement in Iranian oil trading when it was called the Adisa. Meanwhile, Venezuela's foreign ministry strongly denounced and condemned the accusation, saying what constitutes blatant theft and an act of international piracy publicly announced by the President of the United States. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado said on Thursday she was hopeful her country would become a beacon of hope and democracy as she spoke publicly for the first time since receiving the Nobel Peace Prize. Machado had failed to reach the Norwegian capital in time to receive her award.
I am very hopeful Venezuela will be free and we will turn a country into a beacon of hope and opportunity of democracy. And we will welcome not only the Venezuelans that have been forced to flee, but citizens from all over the world that will find a refuge, as Venezuela used to be, decades ago. And as I mentioned to you, the force that brought this country, our nation together, was this longing that we want our children back home. And we will not stop until they do that. And we give them a country in which they can live with dignity, with justice, and the responsibility that comes with freedom.
Now, Israel said on Thursday that Hamas will be disarmed as part of the US-sponsored peace plan for Gaza after a top leader from the Islamist movement suggested a weapons freeze. The statement followed remarks from Hamas leader Khalid Mashal, who said that the group is open to a temporary weapons freeze but rejects full disarmament, which is a key demand in the US peace plan for Gaza. An Israeli official said the 20-point plan leaves no future rule for Hamas, adding that the group would be disarmed and Gaza fully demilitarized. Now, Thailand and Cambodia traded accusations of targeting civilians in artillery and rocket attacks on Wednesday, as US President Donald Trump said he would try to intervene to stop the fighting and salvage a ceasefire he brokered earlier this year. Thailand's defense ministry said on Thursday that 9 Thai soldiers have been killed in a reignited border conflict with Cambodia this week. Trump on Wednesday said he was scheduling a phone call for Thursday with Thailand and Cambodia regarding the conflict between the two Southeast Asian countries.
Yeah, I think I'll have to make a phone call. I was going to say that the Thailand and Cambodia, one of the 8 that I said, have been fighting for a long time. They've been fighting for a very long time, many, many, many decades. But I got along great with both. I found they were 2 great leaders, 2 great people, and I settled it once. I think I can do it pretty quickly. I think we're scheduling a phone call with Thailand.
On the Fed chair.
With Thailand, if you just to answer Steve, with Thailand and Cambodia, I think I can get them to stop fighting.
Now, a military court in Pakistan has sentenced the former head of Pakistan's Inter-Services Intelligence Spy Agency, Faiz Hamid, who served during the tenure of jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan, to 14 years in prison on charges including violation of state secrets and misuse of authority on Thursday. A field general court-martial has convicted former Inter-Services Intelligence Chief Lieutenant General retired Faiz Hamid on 4 charges that are engaging in political activities, violating the Official Secrets Act, misusing authority and resources, and causing wrongful loss. The 15-month proceedings under the Pakistan Army Act ensured Hamid's full defence rights, including chosen legal representation. The court sentenced him to 14 years following required legal procedures with appeals rights intact. Hamid, a close ally of jailed former PM Imran Khan since 2023, was detained in 2024 after a Supreme Court probe into the Top City project. Such high-ranking prosecutions are rare in Pakistan. The US Federal Reserve has lowered interest rates for the 3rd time this year. The central bank said it was lowering the target for its key lending rate by 0.25 percentage points, putting it in a range of 3.50% to 3.75%, its lowest level in 3 years. The Fed's economic projections released on Wednesday suggest 1 rate cut will take place next year, although new data could change this. Fed Chair Jerome Powell said having reduced our policy rate by 75 basis points in September and 175 basis points since last September, the Fed fund rates is now within a broad range of estimates of its neutral value, and we are well positioned to wait to see how the economy evolves.
But we should be able to do a lot better than 3 and 4. We're scheduled to be at 4%, which is pretty amazing. Well, I'm meeting with Kevin Warsh. I'm meeting with him. I sort of have a very good idea what I'm looking for. Again, I'm looking for somebody that will be honest with interest rates.
US President Donald Trump said that the Federal Reserve's interest rate cut was small and that it could have been larger. Take a listen.
But we should be able to do a lot better than 3 and 4. We're scheduled to be at 4%, which is pretty amazing. Well, I'm meeting with Kevin Warsh. I'm meeting with him. I sort of have a very good idea what I'm looking for. Again, I'm looking for somebody that will be honest with interest rates.
Moving on, Japan's lower house approved a massive $118 billion supplementary budget on Thursday, clearing the way for Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's aggressive stimulus plan aimed at easing inflation and strengthening national security. The massive package, equivalent to 18.3 trillion Japanese yen, was passed after 3 independent members of parliament agreed to support the ruling party as the budget now moves to the upper house. The funds will back a stimulus featuring energy subsidies, cash handouts, AI and semiconductor investment and expanded defense spending amid rising regional tensions with China. However, more than 60% of the spending relies on new government bonds, deepening concerns over Japan's already record-high debt-to-GDP ratio. Analysts have warned that the financial markets are signaling alarm as long-term interest rates climb to 2-decade highs. The US flew nuclear-capable B-52 bombers over the Sea of Japan on Wednesday, accompanied by Japanese fighter jets in a show of force after recent Chinese and Russian military drills near Japan and South Korea. Japan's defense ministry said both countries reaffirmed their determination to prevent any attempt to change the regional status quo by force. Regional tensions have been rising after comments by Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi on how Tokyo might respond to a potential Chinese attack on Taiwan. Now, US Representative Bill Huizenga has termed ties with India as a defining relationship of the 21st century, delivering his remarks during the House Foreign Affairs South and Central Asia Subcommittee's hearing titled The US-India Strategic Partnership Securing a Free and Open Indo-Pacific. The representative framed India as central to the US vision for the region. He underscored Washington's consistent view of India as a crucial democratic partner in shaping Indo-Pacific security and economic architecture.
India is one of the fastest growing major economies in the world. American companies increasingly see India not just as a market, but as a partner to innovation, especially in AI, communications, and advanced technologies, where collaboration already exists. American companies are eager to enter the Indian market on a level playing field. A new trade deal with India under President Trump and Prime Minister Modi would further realize this goal and enhance the relationship. Open markets, strengthening supply chains, and driving innovation, all of which would chart a new beginning in our storied partnership.
All right, news just coming in. Bangladesh will hold national polls on February 12, 2026. Its Electoral Commission announced on Thursday the country's first since a student-led uprising toppled former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina last year. A referendum on a landmark democratic reform charter will also be held on the same day. Chief Election Commissioner AMM Nasiruddin said in a television broadcast to the nation. So Bangladesh to hold national polls on February 12 next year, that is 2026. And first election after former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's ouster last year. So referendum on landmark democratic reform charter to also be held on the same day. So Bangladesh announced on Thursday that it will hold 13th national parliamentary election next year on February 12, marking the first general polls since the ouster of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. So Bangladesh's Chief Election Commissioner Nasiruddin made the announcement while addressing the nation, stating that the country is ready to demonstrate to the world that it can conduct free and democratic voting. All right, we'll get you updates on that, but still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Indigo offers travel vouchers worth rupees 10,000 to passengers severely impacted during December 3rd to 5th. We'll get you updates on the ongoing winter session of the Indian Parliament. And Kolkata is preparing for a grand celebration as the city readies to welcome Argentina football legend Lionel Messi on December 13th.
Dr. Shashi Tharoor, welcome to Moscow. How crucial was Russia's support in India's early decades?
Mr. Khrushchev, in particular, opened up Indo-Soviet relations phenomenally. They helped India in everything from setting up the Bhilai steel plant to the whole business of cooperating with India's space programs. All sorts of things happened. The extraordinary success of the BrahMos missile. The Bra comes from the Indian Brahma, and the Mos comes from Moscow.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. Indigo, which has been facing significant operational disruptions, on Thursday announced that it will offer travel vouchers worth rupees 10,000 to each passenger whose flights were cancelled or delayed for long during December 3rd to 5th. The compensation would be in addition to the amount that needs to be provided to passengers for flight cancellations under DGCA norms. In a statement, Indigo said it regrettably acknowledges that part of its customers travelling on 3rd, 4th and 5th December were stranded for many hours at certain airports, and a number of them were severely impacted by congestion. Moving on, Microsoft Chairman and CEO Satya Nadella has predicted that India will become the world's leading community on GitHub by 2030. The announcement was made during Nadella's keynote address at the Building India's AI Frontier event in Bengaluru. He praised India's contribution to the global developer ecosystem, citing its engagement and type of projects that are coming out of India.
India is slated to become the #1 community in the world with GitHub by 2030. And it's fantastic to see the engagement and the type of projects that are coming out of this place, the contributions from India.
In an update from the winter session of the Indian Parliament, both houses of the Parliament have been adjourned for the day. Both Rajya Sabha or Upper House and the Lok Sabha or the Lower House of the Parliament are now adjourned to meet again on 12th December at 11 a.m. IST. The Lok Sabha on Thursday took up the bills for appropriation to use funds from the Consolidated Fund of India and discussed on the matter post the question hour and 0 hour. The Rajya Sabha or the Upper House of the Indian Parliament convened on Thursday for day 11 of winter session, with Chairman C.P. Radhakrishnan presiding. The leader of the Upper House, J.P. Nadda, has concluded the discussion on the 150th anniversary of the national song Vande Mataram, calling it a mantra to awaken the nation's soul. Nadda emphasized its role in fostering pride and motivation, marking a significant moment in Rajya Sabha's winter session 2025 discussions.
जब हम वंदे मातरम की बात करते हैं तो हम यह मानते हैं कि यह देश की आत्मा को जगाने का मंत्र है। हम ये मानते हैं कि यह राष्ट्र का पुनर्जागरण है और हम यह भी मानते हैं कि यह राष्ट्र के पुनर्निर्माण का एक तरीके से आह्वान है। और इसलिए यह मंत्र हम सब लोगों को प्रेरित भी करता है और हमारे को अपनी संस्कृति से जोड़ने का सुअवसर भी देता है और उसके लिए प्रेरणा भी देता है।
The Rajya Sabha later took up the discussion on electoral reforms in India. The House has allocated 10 hours for the debate, which will be continuing with the discussion on Friday. Chairman C.P. Radhakrishnan emphasized on legal constraints on discussing high-ranking individuals without evidence, affirming the Election Commission's independence. He noted issues related to electoral rule revisions are sub judice.
The Election Commission of India is an autonomous constitutional authority under Article 324 of the Constitution of India. The matters concerning special intensive revision of electoral rolls in various states are presently sub judice and under adjudication by the Supreme Court of India.
Union Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways Sarbanan Sonowal launched India's first indigenously developed hydrogen-fueled vessel at Varanasi's Namo Ghat on Thursday, marking a significant push towards clean and sustainable water transport. While inaugurating the vessel, the minister hailed India's technical prowess and commitment towards the push for green energy alternatives, including hydrogen fuel.
पहला स्वदेशी हाइड्रोजन फ्यूल सेल आधारित अंतर्देशीय जलयान अपने व्यावसायिक संचालन के लिए तैयार है। यह केवल तकनीकी प्रगति ही नहीं बल्कि यह दर्शाता है कि हम हरित ऊर्जा और स्वदेशी समाधान की दिशा में पूरी भरोसे से साथ आगे बढ़ रहे हैं।
All right, shifting focus now. President Draupadi Murmu arrived in Imphal on Thursday for a two-day visit to Manipur. The president was welcomed at the airport by the Governor of Manipur, Ajay Kumar Bhalla, Chief Secretary Puneet Kumar Goel, as well as senior army officers and civil officials. Upon her arrival, the president was accorded a guard of honor. Later in the day, President Murmu witnessed a polo match at a historic Imphal polo ground. During her visit, the President will inaugurate and lay the foundation stone for several development projects at the City Convention Centre in Imphal. The President will also interact with communities of internally displaced persons in the evening. A Delhi court on Thursday dismissed anticipatory bail of Saurabh Luthra and Gaurav Luthra, owners of the Goa club, where at least 25 people died in a fire incident on December 6th. The Thailand police have detained Saurabh Luthra and his brother Gaurav Luthra on Thursday, who fled India after the incident. The club co-owners, against whom an Interpol Blue Corner notice had been issued, were detained at the request of the Indian government. Both the accused have been detained at Phuket in Thailand. Their passports are also under the process of suspension, but not suspended yet. The duo booked their tickets to Phuket through a travel portal on December 7, within an hour of learning about the devastating fire at Burj by Romeo Lane, their club in Arpora, North Goa. Reacting to this, Goa Chief Minister Pramod Sawant said our government will work to deliver justice to the 25 people who lost their lives.
गोवा में ट्रैजिक फायर इंसिडेंट के बाद हमने 6 लोगों को अरेस्ट किया, 3 लोगों को सस्पेंड किया और उसकी इन्वेस्टिगेशन फास्ट ट्रैक तरह से हम चला रहे थे। जो एक्चुअल क्लब के ओनर 3 लोग थे, उसमें से एक को दिल्ली में ही अरेस्ट किया। उसके बाद यानी तुरंत उसी दिन भागने वाले उसके जो 2 ओनर थे, इसके लिए हमने उसी दिन LOC खोली और रीजनल पासपोर्ट ऑफिस को पासपोर्ट कैंसिलेशन के लिए कहा। हमारी गोवा पुलिस की पूरी टीम और गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की सभी सेंट्रल एजेंसीज़, हमने जब सेंट्रल एजेंसीज़ को रिक्वेस्ट किया, उनके हेल्प से उनको आज सुबह थाईलैंड यहाँ पे डिटेन किया है। जितना जल्दी हो सके उतना जल्दी हम बिहाइंड द बार्स उनको डालेंगे।
Sports updates now. Let's start with cricket. Suryakumar Yadav-led India will take on Aiden Markram's South Africa in the second of the 5-match T20I series on Thursday in New Chandigarh. The hosts thumped the visitors by 101 runs in the first game to take 1-0 lead in the series. India managed to put on a decent total, and with the ball, they bundled out the Proteas for just 74. South Africa's biggest worry will be the manner in which their batting collapsed in 176-run chase. For India, the biggest concern remains the form of skipper Suryakumar Yadav and vice-captain Shubman Gill. The captain has not had a T20I half-century since October 12 in 2024, while Gill has failed to breach the landmark in the format since July 13, 2024. The skipper and his deputy will have to set their records straight before India begin their T20 World Cup title defence. West Indies trailed New Zealand by 41 runs in the second innings at the day 2 of the second test in Wellington. After bowling out West Indies for 205 in the first innings, New Zealand posted 278 before being all out in the final session of day 2 at Basin Reserve. Devon Conway led New Zealand innings with 60-run knock, while debutant Michael Hay smashed his maiden 50 to help New Zealand take 73-run lead. For West Indies, Anderson Phillips took 3 wickets, while Kemar Roach ended up with 2 wickets. Batting again, West Indies lost 2 quick wickets before the end of play at 32 for 2 down. Kolkata is preparing for a grand celebration as the city readies to welcome Argentina football superstar Lionel Messi on December 13. The Argentina Football Fan Club Kolkata created a striking tribute in Salt Lake, replicating Messi's Miami home with terrace statues, terracotta tiled roofs and life-size cutouts of the footballer and his family. The organizers have designed the exterior to resemble Messi's Miami mansion, while the interior has been transformed into a museum celebrating his illustrious career. A 70-foot iron statue of football icon Lionel Messi, claimed as the biggest ever made of the Argentine superstar, was also unveiled at Lake Town in South Dum-Dum, Kolkata. The statue shows Messi holding FIFA World Cup trophy, and final surface work is currently underway. Messi is slated to inaugurate the statue virtually on December 13. That's all we have in this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.